Have you ever looked at a beautiful sunset and wished you could capture that moment forever? Or perhaps you've watched your grandchildren playing and thought, I wish I could freeze this memory in time. Well, you absolutely can. Hello there, and welcome to our channel. I'm so glad you have joined me today as we explore the wonderful world of photography, especially for those of us with a bit more life experience under our belts. You know, there's something special about discovering or rediscovering photography in our senior years. We have the time, the patience, and most importantly, we have decades of experiences and perspectives that give our photographs a unique depth and character. Whether you're completely new to photography or returning to a passion from years ago, this is the perfect time to embrace this rewarding hobby. In this video, we'll explore how to begin your photography journey with the practical advice that won't overwhelm you or break the bank. I'll share 5 simple ways to plan this wonderful interest, including which inexpensive materials you might need to get started. Together, we'll discover how photography can become not just a hobby, but a way to see the world with fresh eyes and preserve your most precious memories. In this video, we'll explore how to begin your photography journey with the practical advice that won't overwhelm you or break the bank. I'll share 5 simple ways to plan this wonderful interest, including which inexpensive materials you might need to get started. Together, we'll discover how photography can become not just a hobby, but a way to see the world with fresh eyes and preserve your most precious memories. So let's start with the basics. What equipment will you need to begin your photography journey? Now, I know technology can sometimes feel intimidating, but I promise to keep things simple and straightforward. First and foremost, let's talk about cameras. While smartphones these days take remarkable photos, and they're certainly a valid option to begin with, if you are serious about developing photography as a hobby, I recommend investing in a dedicated digital camera. Specifically, what we call a DSLR, a camera that stands for Digital Single Lens Reflex. Don't worry about the technical name. What's important is that these cameras give you much better image quality and more control over your photographs. Now, I understand that buying a camera can feel like a significant investment. The good news is that you don't need the latest, most expensive model to take beautiful photos. Many camera manufacturers offer an entry-level DSLA that are perfect for beginners. Brands like Canon, Nikon, and Sony all have excellent options that won't break the bank. You might even consider buying a gently used camera from a reputable dealer to save some money. When I first started photography after retiring, I bought a basic Canon model that was already a few years old. It served me wonderfully for several years as I learned the fundamentals. Remember, it's not about having the fanciest equipment, it's about learning to see the world through a photographer's eyes. Once you have your camera, you'll need a good quality SD card, or maybe 2. These small memory cards store all your photos, and it's always good to have a backup. Look for cards with at least 32 or 64 gigabytes of storage. They're relatively inexpensive these days, and having that extra space means you won't have to worry about deleting photos while you're out and about. I personally prefer a SanDisk Extreme Pro card because it means the card can easily handle video too if I want to film something while I'm out taking photos. The third essential item I recommend is a good quality camera bag. When I first got my camera, I thought I could just carry it in my regular bag or even around my neck all day. Let me tell you, a proper camera bag makes all the difference. It protects your investment from bumps and scratches, keeps dust away from your lens, and has compartments for all your accessories. Plus, many camera bags are designed with comfort in mind, with padded straps that won't strain your shoulders or back during a day of photography adventures. I want to mention a few things that you don't need right away, even though camera stores might try to convince you otherwise. First, don't worry about buying additional zoom lenses when you're just starting out. The lens that comes with your camera, often called a kit lens, is perfectly adequate for learning photography basics. It's versatile enough to capture landscapes, portraits, and everyday moments. Similarly, while tripods and monopods are wonderful tools, especially as we get older and might want some help keeping the camera steady, they're not essential for beginners. You can certainly add these to your wish list for later, particularly if you develop an interest in nature photography or want to take photos in low light conditions. But for now, focus on getting comfortable with your camera and discovering what kinds of subjects you enjoy photographing most. You know, I remember when my friend Martha got her first digital camera. She was so excited but also overwhelmed by all the accessories the salesperson tried to add on. She ended up buying everything they suggested and then felt intimidated by all the equipment. Most of it sat unused in her closet for months. Start simple, I told her. Master the basics first, then gradually add pieces as your skills and interests develop. Photography is like any other skill. It's best learned step by step. And speaking of learning, let's talk about how to begin using your new camera. Many of us grew up in an era where taking photos meant pointing and shooting, then waiting days or weeks to see if our pictures turned out well. Digital photography gives us such an advantage. We can see our results instantly and learn from them in real time. When you first get your camera, spend some time just getting familiar with how it feels in your hands. Practice turning it on and off, taking simple photos around your home, and discovering where all the buttons are. Most cameras today have an auto mode that takes care of all the technical settings for you. This is perfectly fine to use while you're learning. In fact, I still use auto mode for quick family snapshots when I don't want to miss a moment. If we look on this camera, automatic is shown as a green rectangle. On many others, you may see the letter A. Once set on automatic, lightly pressing the shutter button halfway makes the camera focus. If you are in low light, the flash will pop up automatically too. Then all you have to do is press the button until it clicks and your photo is taken. The wonderful thing about learning photography these days is that there are so many resources available to help us. You might enjoy borrowing books from your local library, watching tutorials online, or even joining a community class specifically designed for seniors interested in photography. There's something deeply satisfying about capturing the beauty in everyday scenes that we might otherwise walk past without noticing. That flowering bush you've seen 100 times becomes something new when you're looking at it through a photographer's lens, considering the light, the colors, and the composition. Now that we've covered the essential equipment you'll need to start your photography journey, let's think about the kinds of photographs you might want to take. Many of us are drawn to photography because we want to preserve memories of our loved ones and the special moments we share together. Beyond family photography, you might discover a passion for landscape photography, or perhaps you'll be drawn to street photography, documenting everyday life in your community. Some of my friends have developed fascinating projects photographing architecture, gardens, or even close-up macro photography of flowers and insects. The beauty of photography is that it can be tailored to your interests and physical abilities. Speaking of which, let's address something important. Photography can be adapted to suit any mobility level or physical limitation you might have. Beautiful photographs can be taken from your car window, your backyard, or even your living room window. I have a friend who created a stunning series of bird photographs entirely from her kitchen window after a hip replacement limited her mobility for several months. Now, as we mature, we sometimes face challenges with our vision or with holding a camera steady. The good news is that modern cameras have features that can help. Most digital cameras have viewfinders that you can adjust to your eyesight, and many also have articulating screens that can be tilted to a comfortable viewing angle. If your hands aren't as steady as they used to be, cameras now have impressive image stabilization technology that helps compensate for minor movements. One of the greatest advantages we have as senior photographers is time. Unlike our younger counterparts who might be juggling careers and young families, many of us have the luxury of patience. We can wait for the perfect light, return to a location multiple times until conditions are just right, or spend a peaceful hour observing and photographing birds at a feeder. This patience, combined with our lifetime of experiences and perspectives, often leads to more thoughtful, contemplative photography. We're not just taking pictures, we're telling stories and preserving memories with every click of the shutter. Let's talk about developing your skills once you've become comfortable with the basics. After you've taken a few hundred photographs on the automatic setting, and don't be surprised if that happens quickly. You might want to explore more of what your camera can do. This is where the manual settings come in, and I promise they're not as intimidating as they might seem. Most cameras have what photographers call the exposure triangle. 3 main settings that control how your photos look: aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. Learning to adjust these gives you creative control over your images and helps in challenging lighting situations. When I first heard these terms, I felt overwhelmed too, but then my photography instructor explained it in a way that made sense. Aperture controls how much of your photo is in focus, shutter speed controls whether moving objects appear frozen or blurred, and ISO determines how sensitive your camera is to light. Understanding just these 3 concepts can dramatically improve your photographs. Many local community colleges offer photography classes for seniors, and there are books written with clear, jargon-free explanations. Search for photography for seniors, and you'll find books which explain technical concepts in plain language with large print and helpful illustrations. Now, when it comes to improving your skills, nothing beats practice and feedback. This is where joining a photography group can be incredibly rewarding. Many communities have camera clubs or photography societies that welcome members of all skill levels. These groups often organize outings to interesting locations, hold regular meetings to discuss techniques, and provide gentle critiques to help members improve. I joined a local photography club 3 years ago, and it's been one of the best decisions I've made. Not only have I learned so much from the other members, but I've also made wonderful friends who share my passion. If you're not quite ready for a group setting, consider finding just one photography buddy. My neighbor Ruth and I started taking our cameras on weekly walks together. We challenged each other to try new techniques or subjects, and we've learned so much from comparing our different perspectives of the same scene. For those who prefer learning independently, setting yourself small projects or challenges can be very motivating. You might decide to photograph the same tree through all 4 seasons, document the birds that visit your garden, or create a visual diary of your neighborhood. Having a focus for your photography gives you purpose and direction as you practice. As you develop your skills, you'll likely find that photography enriches your life in unexpected ways. Many retired folks tell me that photography has helped them maintain mental sharpness as they learn new technical skills. Others say it's encouraged them to be more physically active walking further and exploring new places in search of interesting subjects. Perhaps most importantly, photography encourages mindfulness and presence. When you are looking through your viewfinder composing a shot, you're fully in the moment, noticing details, appreciating beauty, and connecting with your surroundings in a meaningful way. In our busy world, this kind of focused attention is precious indeed. Let's talk about organizing and sharing your photographs, because taking pictures is just the beginning of the photography journey. In the days of film cameras, we would carefully place printed photographs in albums or frames. While you can certainly still print your favorite digital images, and I encourage you to do so, digital photography offers us many more options for preserving and sharing our work. Most computers come with basic photo organization software, or you can download free programs that help you sort, edit, and catalog your images. Don't worry if you're not particularly tech-savvy. These programs have become increasingly user-friendly over the years. Many cameras also come with their own software that makes transferring photos from your camera to your computer quite straightforward. I also make it a habit to back up my photos regularly, either to an external hard drive or to a cloud storage service. Photos are precious memories, and it's worth taking steps to ensure they're not lost if your computer has problems. Once your photos are organized, the joy of sharing begins. Email is a simple way to send photos to friends and family, but there are also photo sharing websites where you can create private albums to share with loved ones. My grandchildren particularly enjoy seeing new photographs I've taken, and it's become a wonderful way for us to stay connected between visits. One gentleman in my camera club, who specialized in photographing local wildlife, now has quite a following on Instagram and has even had his work featured in our community newspaper. It's never too late to share your unique perspective with the world. If you're interested in printing your photographs, there are many options available beyond the traditional photo print. Canvas prints, photo books, calendars, and cards all make wonderful keepsakes or gifts. I created a coffee table book of my landscape photography as a Christmas gift for my children last year, and it was received with such joy and appreciation. Remember that photography is a journey, not a destination. Even professional photographers continue to learn and grow throughout their careers. Be patient with yourself as you develop your skills, and don't be discouraged by the occasional blurry photo or imperfect composition. Every photograph you take, even the ones that don't turn out as planned, is a learning opportunity. I often tell beginners in our photography club about the rule of thirds. The idea that dividing your image into 3 sections, both horizontally and vertically, and placing your subject at the intersection of these lines often results in more balanced and interesting compositions. But I also tell them that once they understand this rule, they're free to break it. Photography is creative expression, and sometimes the most powerful images come from following your instincts rather than rigid rules. Many retired folks find that photography gives them a sense of purpose and direction for their outings and travels. Rather than just visiting a botanical garden to admire the flowers, you might go with a specific intention of capturing macro images of interesting blooms. A walk through your hometown becomes more engaging when you're documenting historic buildings or street scenes. Even family gatherings take on new dimensions when you're looking for those special, candid moments to preserve. On a recent trip to visit my daughter in Wales, I woke up before dawn several mornings to capture the mountains in that magical early light. Would I have done that without my camera? Probably not, and I would have missed those breathtaking moments of solitude and beauty. Many seniors also find joy in revisiting places from their past with a camera in hand. Photographing your childhood neighborhood, your old school, or places where significant life events occurred can be a powerful experience. One gentleman in our photography club documented the small town where he grew up, creating a photo essay that captured both what had changed and what remained the same over 7 decades. Let me share a story that I hope will inspire you. Margaret joined our photography club at 78 years old, never having used anything more advanced than a point-and-shoot camera. She was hesitant at first, worried that she was too old to learn all this technical stuff. But she persisted, taking things one step at a time, asking questions and practicing regularly. 3 years later, at 81, she held her first solo exhibition at our local arts center, a collection of portrait photographs capturing the diverse residents of our community. The exhibition was covered by the local newspaper, and Margaret told me it was one of the proudest moments of her life. What I love about Margaret's story is that it reminds us that creative growth is possible at any age. We don't need to be experts when we begin something new. We just need curiosity, persistence, and a willingness to learn. As we come to the end of our time together today, I want to encourage you to take that first step on your photography journey. Whether you dust off an old camera that's been sitting in a drawer, use the camera on your smartphone, or invest in a new DSLR, the important thing is to begin. Take photos of the things that matter to you, your loved ones, your home, your garden, your neighborhood. Don't worry about perfection. Focus instead on the joy of creativity and discovery. Start small. Perhaps commit to taking just 3 photographs a day for a week. Notice how this practice encourages you to look at your surroundings with fresh eyes. If you feel comfortable, share these images with family or friends. Their encouragement and feedback can be wonderfully motivating. Remember that photography is for everyone, regardless of age or experience. Each of us has a unique perspective to share with the world, scenes that move us, moments that touch our hearts, beauty that we notice because of our individual life experiences. Your photographs will be distinctive because no one else sees the world exactly as you do. I hope this video has inspired you to explore photography as a rewarding hobby in your senior years. It truly is one of the most accessible and fulfilling creative pursuits, offering endless opportunities for learning, connecting, and expressing yourself. Remember, it's never too late to learn something new or to see the world through a different lens. Your photography journey is waiting to begin, and I can't wait to see where it takes you. I am just off to photograph my grandson's sports day at his school. Thank you for spending this time with me today, and happy photographing. Of course, if you think photography may not be for you, maybe look at one of our other videos for inspiration. Reimagine yourself in one of these other roles. Thanks again, and bye for now.